Oh, yay! It's the time of the year when we're completely skint.
Skint. We've been completely skinned. It's
Skint,
October.
that broke.
Skint? Well, how would that be spelled? Skint?
Isn't it like a British thing?
To have no money available. Well, there you go. It's informal British.
I know my slang. Thank you very much.
And nobody else listening to this does.
Or you. The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem. Welcome to The Gaming Lovers, episode 24, as we kickstart October, or aka the month that we are all going to be broke before Christmas.
Yes, broke. Much better choice of words.
Or skint.
Never heard skint in my life.
The word of the day is brought to you by The Gaming Lovers. We'd like to educate here.
Well, you're educating me and I'm a host here. I need a forewarning of such educational lessons.
Apologies. My name is Jem.
And I am Brendo.
And we are The Gaming Lovers. In this episode of the podcast, we are going to be talking about games that are about to come out very, very soon or drop in the next few weeks in the lead up to Christmas. This is kind of the time of the year when all the really big games are launched. That haven't been, delayed by problems that are happening with developers.
A lot of big AAA games, the big budget, big titles that you've all been waiting for, they usually drop October, November, or early December. Mm-hmm. Presumably for the end of school and, well, here anyway. Summer break, I guess.
Summer for us, winter for the rest of
I don't understand how the rest of the world does things. Somebody on the internet was arguing with people that they didn't know when the seasons ended. Because in Australia, we keep it nice and tight. The start of this month,
yep.
For example, for us, summer will start December 1st.
Yes.
Not that difficult. It lasts 3 months, and then the next season begins at March 1st. Easy. In other lands, they have it in the
far away.
Center of the month. The seasons change. And somebody was saying, it was on a wrestling forum, and they were saying, what's your favourite match of this summer? And somebody mentioned something, and it was our winter. So they said, August 18th had this match. And they're like, that's not summer. Everyone's like, what? What is going on? And it's just so confusing.
Well, it just depends on where you are in the world. So I guess for those of you that are in their fall or autumn at the moment, for us, we're in our spring. So yay for allergies. But at least the summer is coming up for us. We are quite used to having quite hot Christmases.
Yeah, you say thankfully summer's coming around.
I love summer.
I hate summer.
I love summer.
It's too hot.
No.
My job, I sit in a box with a glass sheet in front of me. I'm basically in a microwave, getting slowly cooked. Summer's not the most fun.
I get that. But I also sit in a box that has no ventilation, and there have been times I've been close to fainting in here when I have long jobs to do as far as voiceover is concerned.
I thought you were making a counterpoint.
No,
it sounds like you're agreeing with me.
I'm agreeing with you that it can be hard at times as far as work is concerned, but I love summer activities. There's so much more to do. There is so many more events, and you can do outdoor dining a lot more easier. You can go swimming. I love swimming, and I don't know why that came out whiny. I love swimming.
Are you the president of the fashion club from Daria?
Just call me Sandy. Oh, dear. Corinne as president of the fashion club.
Anyway, I don't like doing outdoor activities in summer because it gets to 48 degrees here. It's far too hot.
Just be thankful we don't live in the Northern Territory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or other places in the whole earth that are hotter.
Yes. We have it pretty good. But anyway, we've so sidetracked.
Where are we?
How about before we jump into our main topic for this episode of The Gaming Lovers, let's talk about gaming goals while we can still achieve them before we head overseas.
It's the gaming goals segment.
So it's changed tune as well.
Oh, you got to keep it guessing. Keep it guessing.
There's no consistency in this podcast at all.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Okay. Gaming goals. I think I'm going to start this week.
Go for it.
Because usually I throw to you. So I'm going to be like, nah, I'm going to talk about
If we've learned one thing this podcast, that I seem to be half a mental step behind. So it'll give me time to think about what I've actually played the past 7 days. So please, go right ahead, my dear. What have you been playing?
Well, I said that I was going to give Spider-Man a rest, and I have. And my sanity has been very thankful for it. I have been playing a little bit of Persona, and I've been playing a lot on my phone, though, because I've been on the go a lot this week. So I've been collecting Pokemon on Pokemon Quest, and finally
I thought you were leading into a Pokemon Go pun. I've been on the go playing Pokemon Quest.
No. I deleted that because it kept telling me it wouldn't let me play because I was moving too fast. It thought I was in a car when I was in bed. So I deleted it. I'm like, you stupid GPS. So...
Well, technically, you're always moving at least 120-something kilometers.
That's
meters
the
a second.
Earth moving. That is not me moving. So anyway, I got rid of that app, but I've been playing Pokemon Quest, and I'm getting my Pokedex is mostly full.
You have been doing very well.
But yeah, so I've just been really enjoying that. Like, it's a nice chill game, and I'm like a little strategic as well, trying to get the right combo and stuff. I still haven't been able to beat Mewtwo though.
I was going to say, smoke did start to pour out of your ears when you tried to beat Mewtwo multiple times and fail. You have moved on to trying to fill out that Pokedex as your primary objective.
Yes, and I'm just trying to get everyone at, like, up to their top level. I figure if I can pick the best Pokemon to take to Mewtwo at their top level, then my chances should be better, theoretically. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah, that's pretty much been my gaming week. I want to get into more. I'm hoping that this week's going to be a bit more chill because we've had a lot on our plate recently. But thankfully, the main thing that we've really got on this week is wrestling with the Super Showdown. So... with that in mind, like I'm hoping that I can actually enjoy some more games in big blocks and not like an hour here or an hour there, which is what this last week has felt like.
Now you get 3 Pokemon on your team usually in Pokemon Quest.
Yes.
Now what have you been using? What's your powerhouse? What's your go-to? The A team?
Well, I actually change it up depending on what field I'm sending them into. So each level or area that you're exploring will have a feature Pokemon. Like, it might be an area that's just full of water Pokemon or grass or ground, etc., etc. So you choose a team that basically will wipe the floor with them. So at the moment I'm in an area with lots of bird and water Pokemon, so naturally electric Pokemon. So I go in there and I can put it on auto now. They're that high leveled and they just clean house.
So you're playing a game, but you don't actually do a lot of play.
Oh, not anymore, because I put in the hard yards and now I've got that team. So it's just it's doing the self-grinding for me.
Reaping the rewards.
I wish I could do that with Japanese RPGs at some points where I could just be like, okay, I got the right team, let them auto-fight while I do some other stuff and I can get this done while that's happening and then get to the good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
One game that did do that a little bit was Trails of Cold Steel, where if you're over-leveled, you can attack an enemy and it will die instantly. You will get a small reward. You don't even have to fight it.
Yeah, but you don't really get XP for that. You just get little jewels.
Well, you wouldn't need it. It would give you like 1/4000th of what you need to level up at that point.
That's true. All right, so what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? As you said, it's been a busy week. And I feel like I'm saying that an awful lot. And I don't know if I'm just making excuses. Has it actually been a busy week?
It has.
Okay, thank goodness for that. I've been attempting to mop up my platinum trophy in Spider-Man. I've done all the difficult stuff, and now it's just the grind. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a grind involved if I do want that last trophy to pop, which is just the random crimes around the city. Mm-hmm. Need to do 5 in each section of the city for each faction. So, considering there's more than one faction, it can take a bit of time just to get through one section.
Yay, grindy. And now tell everyone what you told me earlier. Yeah, tell them.
Well, we've had no shortage of discussion.
He died on easy twice. Sorry. Sorry, you say it.
I like to put qualifying statements down before I make a declaration of importance. I was playing on friendly difficulty, and as we said on this podcast the past few weeks, friendly occasionally don't feel so friendly. Mm-hmm. I'm mopping up the end game. I lowered the difficulty to help me breeze through it. I have all gadgets unlocked and maxed out. I have a multitude of suit mods to equip. I am fairly indestructible, and I still died twice on the easiest difficulty today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a bad gamer. I'm not a bad gamer, please. Believe me.
You not only died on easy, you died with the highest level Spider-Man, with all the gadgets, and you knew the game inside out.
I'm level 50, baby, and I'm a sack of meat in a suit.
This just makes me feel better. I'm sorry for teasing you, but oh man, I feel so much better because I felt like, seriously, that game had me feeling like such a chump, like I was not a good gamer, and had me questioning. I'm like, am I really just a casual that's masquerading as a gamer? But no, that game is just occasionally kind of harsh and brutal.
Well, I'm so glad that my embarrassment of being thrown under the bus on a podcast has made you feel a little better.
Oh, I'm so smug right now. I love you.
What a gentleman I am.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, not sorry.
In other words, I'm handing in my official pro level gamer card and am resigning from the video game industry.
I love it.
Now, our schedule has been quite tight, so when I have played video games, it's been 15, 20-minute sessions here and there where I've been able to squeeze it in, which has completely eliminated what I hoped would be my primary project for this week of Detroit Become Human. I have played a big fat 0 hours of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm scared because this is the sort of game where I'm like, I'm going to play this. Okay, I've played this. Okay, I'm halfway through. I'll come back to it in a bit. And then 4 months go past and I'm like, I really should have played that all relatively
quickly
within each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a good story. And a part of me almost wants to go back and replay and just do things differently. Like choose the other extreme, I guess. Because you can.
Well, I don't want to hear anything about what you chose or anything.
No, I didn't say. I just kept it vague. But it does have a lot of replay value for sure. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, it's one of those games I think that is very you love it or you hate it style. But David Cage has always been quite polarizing. But yeah, I think the reason that you've also not played that maybe as much as you would have is because we're making you live stream it. And that means you don't want to play it if you're not feeling too good.
Yeah, when you've got no energy. I've been sick for weeks. Even last week when I had bragged that I was finally clear, you may have noticed I was a little congested last week. And if my voice is squeaky today, it's simply because I spent about 6 hours doing character voices for a different project. So I'm not actually sick. It's all good.
I'm amazed, actually, that our voices have come back today after yesterday.
Unfortunately, I think that's about it for our gaming goals. I
Yeah.
haven't had much time to play, and we are in the final countdown. Oh, why didn't I sing that line? Leading into our holiday, which is coming up very soon. So, although this isn't talking too much about our future gaming goals, I don't want to commit to anything too big, which means I've been sort of a bit limbo-ish. Maybe I should play Limbo again. That's a short game.
Maybe you could play one of the Telltale games that you downloaded digitally that are short. I don't think you finished Guardians of the Galaxy
I did not.
or Season 2 of Batman.
Well, remind me of those when we get to the tail end of the podcast and we think about our gaming futures.
Sounds good.
Share the love. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Gaming Lovers.
It is officially the hottest gaming season of the year, where we have all the big names that kind of get dropped on us all at once and overwhelm us and help us go really broke right before Christmas.
I'm glad you said overwhelm us. It can be the best time of year to be a gamer, or it can be, like you said, incredibly overwhelming. You can feel pressure, anxiety. There's only so many hours in the day to game.
Let's face it, it's a bit of both. So you're excited because all these wonderful new games are coming out, and you're also like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of money and I can't keep up, and all my friends are going to play these games and then they're going to be leaking, spoilers before I have a chance to finish it. And
I suppose it really depends on what style of gamer you are. If you're only waiting for the next Call of Duty or something like that, and that's all you really play, then you'll be so excited that the new one would be coming out.
Yeah.
But if you're like us and we've got things like Red Dead Redemption 2 in it, Assassin's Creed.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
It's like a banquet that you've shown up to and you just had drive-through Macca's on the way there and you've gone, what have I done? I don't have room for this.
Well, maybe for you. McDonald's, it doesn't stay in my system for very long. It doesn't fill me up like it
does. The detail. Don't need to know the details
I didn't
of
mean
that.
it like that.
Doesn't
I just
stay in
meant,
my system very long.
For
I
some
have
reason,
a very regular
you have
bowel
McDonald's
movements.
for lunch, and sometimes you're not even hungry for dinner, whereas I'm like hungry an hour later. That is what I meant.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hey, it's got to go somewhere.
Oh my word. We're really getting off topic. Let's jump into the games that are being released here in October. So there's quite a lot to kick us off this month. October 2nd, Mega Man 11, Forza Horizon 4. There is Twilight Path, Valkyrian Arc, Hero School Story. Gee, that sounds like a winner.
Hero School Story. That's got to be Japanese.
The Surge, The Good, the Bad, and the Augmented. Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise. And my favourite, the one that I have been waiting for, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah. It's
Well-
going to be like a complete reboot to the series.
That may just be the deluxe edition coming out on the 2nd. Some of these games have these frustrating bonuses where if you pre-order and you pre-order the good, higher third tier up from the bottom,
Yes,
you
the
get to play it like 4
Gold,
days
Ultimate,
early.
Medusa, Spartan, and Pantheon editions. That's that one. But you only
How
have to
many
wait like...
editions? Wait a second. Let's just hit pause on that.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the game.
There's Gold, Ultimate, Medusa, Spartan, and Pantheon.
And they're all coming out October 2nd for those ones.
Yes.
Okay. So what about your boring old...
The classic edition, the standard, I guess, is just out 3 days later on the 5th.
My goodness me. So there's more editions than you could possibly
Shake a stick at.
shake a spear of whatever the hero,
Spartan
Leonidas. You're interested in Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Yes, the first time in the games series. I think that this game is a little divisive because those that have been fans of it since it began are a little, I think, irked that it's changing its formula a little bit with this one.
Mm-hmm.
But there are others like me who are like, oh, this looks good. Like, they're adding some story elements where you can kind of control your path a little more. It's a little more personalized. You can play as a female. Yes! And Cassandra looks awesome. Her hair, especially. If I was going to cosplay as anyone, I think out of recent gaming characters, it would probably be her.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm just psyched. I love choice, I think, too. Love being able to choose who I play as. But I also love the setting that it's in as well.
You've always liked that Greek
Mythology.
Yep.
Yeah. One of my favourite things to study.
Yeah, it's funny you say how some people are hesitant about the differences. It's so hard to keep everyone happy.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly impossible.
Yep.
But if a game series stays the same for too long, it gets called stale.
Yes. And it had already been called stale. Assassin's Creed kind of jumped the shark a while ago.
Trust me, if there's a video game franchise that got stale, it was Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm. It had some bursts of resurgence after a couple of flops. Like, it got its steam back, but then it was starting to dwindle again. So I think this is kind of what it's needed to get the hype back up. And I'm hoping that this is going to be what it, the studio needs to take it to the next level, but also get that momentum back. And they're also not going to be releasing one every year anymore. They're doing it every 2 years or so, which I think is going to be great for the people that have been working so hard on these games to have a bit of a breather.
Yeah, big difference.
And also as fans, like, as wonderful as it is to have something that you love come out every year to kind of refresh it, kind of like The Sims with their many expansion packs. That's what I guess Assassin's Creed almost feels like sometimes with the amount of games that they have.
Yeah, they released 2 at one point when the console generation was overlapping. They released an entire game,
They had Unity
Assassin's Creed
and
Rogue,
Syndicate?
on the 360, and they had Unity on the next-gen consoles. They
Mm.
launched on the same day.
Yep.
Now, if you were like us and you had both console generations at that point, you've just dropped 2 games in one series on your head at the same time. That's series fatigue in a nutshell.
Absolutely. But it'll be really nice to hopefully see them put more time into the next games that will follow Odyssey. So I'm hoping that it'll rejuvenate the series and help the writers and stuff as well kind of have a bit of a breather and as fans to have a bit of a breather as well. Sometimes absence does make the heart grow fonder.
Oh, how sweet. Now, when we're rattling off the release titles that are coming out October, November, December, some of them, we don't even know what they are. But we're doing this for a reason, because there are games that I forgot are actually even coming out this year.
Know.
And when I'm looking through this list, you just see that thing and you're like, oh my goodness, I'd forgotten all about that game, because there's so many big titans of the industry catching all the attention. So
For sure.
we figured, why not just look at a list and rattle them off. Starting October 4th, we've got The Midnight Sanctuary, Pilot Sports, Achtung!
Which means danger in German.
Cthulhu Tactics. Two things I didn't think we'd see together.
Achtung, Cthulhu.
How strange. Vertical Drop Heroes HD also on October 4th. What I've just said, all those games. What do you think? Anything catch your eye out of those?
Oh, I think Achtung. That is funny, because you say that a lot.
I do. I played a lot of the early Medal of Honor Call of Duty back when every World War II game was fresh and it had never been done before.
Gee, that was a long time ago.
You have no idea. But yes, I was no stranger to yelling out Achtung in our household.
Where I just heard that from my grandparents. Context.
Well, you sounded so sad when you said that.
my Uma and Upa. My Uma was German, my Upa was Russian. But he spoke German and other languages quite fluently. So we would hear just drips and pieces of German growing up. So that's one of the words I knew, as well as schnell machen. It's not a pleasant language to listen to.
Boy, I hope you know the accurate translations for these and you're not actually just like
I'm not,
dropping
I know.
expletives. I can't confirm what you're saying. I don't speak language.
And she said, kommen Sie. She was just telling us to hurry up, basically.
Okay. Excellent.
You can always tell by the tone.
As another tangent, I'd never heard the term Upa or Uma until I met you.
Well, it was easy for us to tell the difference between grandparents, because on my dad's side, it was all very English, so it was Nan and Grandpa, and on Mum's side, it was very European. Yeah, anyway, facts about us. Dun-dun-dun. October 5th is where it's at. 3 games dropping on that day, all of which are pretty big, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
There is the WWE 2K19.
Which looks like it has a absurd story mode, which
which looks hilarious.
is a nice return to form. There was a game, one of the 2K somethings, 2K6 or 2K7, one of those, had a storyline where one of the female wrestlers had a magic wand. In your professional wrestling career, she attacks you with this magic wand. You get turned into a woman. Some of the other characters change voices. It just gets weird. And the whole thing culminates in a big ladder match for possession of the magic wand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can suspend my disbelief with wrestling at times. And that's well within that limit.
Yes. Oh, well, they're not shy of like bringing in fantastical stories into just the stuff on TV, let alone the video games. But they also have big head mode, which looks so funny.
At long last, making its return to gaming.
Yay!
It's not since the Golden Eye that we saw
I
big
know.
head mode get
loved playing
its true time in the sun.
It was Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
I would love.
That's a big head.
I loved having him as when we did big head mode. He just looks so funny. But I think with those gimmicks that they've added to this edition, I'm really tempted for the first time in probably a decade to actually get a WWE wrestling game.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it looks like fun, and I want to get the group together again like we used to and play, do some fatal 4-way matches with big heads.
Will there be enough room in the ring? You can't do a big head Royal Rumble.
That would look hilarious.
That's a fire hazard.
No, I want to
You
see
will
that.
obstruct all exits to the building.
My life will not be complete until I see that. Okay.
October 5th. What do we have?
October 5th. We also have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, as we went into before, just the normal edition for
the plebs.
Yes.
Like ourselves that will be buying the basic edition.
The people,
Not the super Medusa fancy pants Pantheon? Whatever. Pantheus. I bought a pair of panties.
And then the game that I am very excited for, Super Mario Party for the Switch. Oh, so much nostalgia in one day.
Hot diggity dog.
I know. So that's another game we are definitely getting like everyone over to play, because that was like a big one for me as a kid, with me and my sisters, all four of us like sitting and playing Mario Party for hours and like, you know, getting blisters on our palms. So I don't know if we'll necessarily have that with the Joy-Cons.
It was the best family time until things went badly. But I used to play with my two sisters and my mother. We'd play 4-player games of Mario Party in the evenings. Wonderful bonding experiences.
It is. So I think we should do a family night when that comes out.
And Bowser can be played.
I know.
He's finally joining in the fun.
It's interesting. It's just trying to get closer to Peach.
Oh, don't start. The internet is going in some strange places at the moment thanks to that stupid crown.
But so is Mario. Like, they've acknowledged the weirdness. They did that, what was it, in Mario Odyssey?
Yes.
So you can't, it's not just internet anymore, it's canon. It's, all part of it is anyway. Let's move on to October 9th.
So rolling on back through the month of October. October 9th, we've got Space Hulk Tactics. Tactics seems to be a big hit at the moment. We've also got The Occupation. Crashbots. Card Life, which is an early access game on Steam. Stranded Deep, which was a early access game on Steam. It has been available on PCs the past few years. It is coming to consoles, and it's the sort of game where you are first person, you are in a plane which has crashed into a small series of islands in the tropics somewhere, and you have to survive. Excellent.
And turn into the arrow.
Basically, yes. If we know one thing from superheroes, it's that if you are left on an island and you train, you will be equipped with incredible reflexes.
Oh, yeah.
For the rest of your life.
Of course. But interesting, like, fun fact, that game, I believe, partially developed in Brisbane.
Stranded Deep, yes indeed. Brisbane, Australia.
Yeah.
Australia.
Okay. Also on October 9th.
October 9th, we also have Mark of the Ninja Remastered. Again, we're seeing a lot of remasters and ports in this generation. A lot of these games are indies, which are getting new life on other consoles. Home Sweet Home. Doesn't that sound pleasant?
I hope it is, because that's the kind of thing that probably suckers you in is actually a horror game, because it's on VR.
Home Sweet Home. We've also got The Shortest Trip to Earth, which I assume would just be a meteorite. That would get you down to Earth quite quickly. Disgaea 1, Complete, a series that has caught my eye on the Vita, but I've never had the time or the finances at the given moment to get into that series.
And
but
I have a feeling when that one launches too, you won't have the money either, because it'll be going to all those other games.
This is the problem. But it is nice when games, the Yakuza series did this, where a game series gets popular late in its lifespan.
Yeah.
The first 2 or 3 games aren't that popular. 4, 5, and 6 sell like hotcakes. So then fans are getting on board then, and then they're like, well, let's just remaster the first game so more people can then get in at the start while everyone's excited.
Yep.
So we'll see what that has in the future for Disgaea. October 10, we also have Maple Story 2. Kursk comes out on October 11th. Tricky Towers, a game that I quite enjoy when it treats me well on the PS4.
That's a tough one. That is one of those games, like, I was playing just single-player mode, and I'm like, I love puzzle games, but, that broke my brain a couple of times.
For those who don't know, Tricky Towers is basically, imagine if Tetris had physics. You can't just balance that block on the edge of another block because it will just fall because it has weight, and then that one will hit another one which will knock it over, and then suddenly your whole stack of things just falls over.
It's game over if it falls.
It's got some great party modes and powers that you get, power-ups, making it difficult for the other people to play, inhibiting their controls. It also has puzzle modes where you have to a certain amount of blocks that you have to stack within a certain space and just hope they all fit without falling over.
Yep.
Pretty fun. That's coming out on the Switch October 11th. And another one on October 11th, making its debut on the Switch, which I played plenty of on the Vita, is The Swindle. It's like a procedurally generated heist game. You have to try to break in and steal treasure, but the level's different every time you play it. So it's kind of fun. Frustrating, but fun.
I love the name of this next one, Spit Kiss.
Oh, is that what we get up to on Valentine's Day?
Well, with the way that some of our friends, we've got friends that are like teenagers, when they react like, ew, don't do that, if we kiss in front of them.
Even a peck on the cheek.
I know.
Oh, you guys are gross.
How
Well,
dare
maybe
you.
next time they see us, we'll spit kiss in front of them. That'll show them.
Oh my goodness, that would be
Moving on.
gross.
October 11th also sees the release of Joggernauts, which I love a good pun. Anytime you can combine two things and you immediately get an idea of what the game's like, Joggernauts.
So many games on PC that I haven't heard of, but I want to play.
We don't know what many of them are because I don't have a current high-powered PC. This will be a good enough time to stop and have a chat about this. I always have preferred being a PC gamer, but you don't always have a PC that is up to date, has the required specs to play the new games, which is why I do prefer consoles and have for like the past decade.
Yeah.
It's much easier to buy a console. You know that's going to play your games for the next 7 years or so that come out, current events, new releases. Not a problem.
Never really had many viruses destroy a console like they do PCs.
That's another point. And consoles don't usually cost about $3,000 to get a really good one. Wonderful. Spit Kiss. I'm still hung up on Spit Kiss. The Missing, also coming out on October 11th. Child of Light makes its journey to the Switch as well. You'll hear a lot of these games that you think, aren't they already out? Well, they're probably just ports. And The Light That Keeps Us Safe. Speaking of games that sound... Oh, you said, oh, that sounded cute. I thought it was like a horror game.
No, it sounds cute, like a warm family, like a glow. I don't know, that just sounded like the light that keeps us safe. I don't know, it sounds like a family game. Am I wrong? Why is it that horror games sometimes have names that sound really nice and cuddly?
Like Emily Wants to Play.
Tricksy names. Are you Googling it?
Yeah. Oh. Use stealth and evasion to avoid terrifying machines that patrol the desolate world. Yeah, I think that's a scary game. I should have just bought it for you on Steam Early Access and just seen what your reaction was.
Oh, that's so mean. Okay. Well, October 12th has a couple of big ones. There is Luigi's Mansion on 3DS.
A port of the GameCube title, because the sequel came out on the 3DS. So,
Yes.
again, they thought, well, let's bring the first one there so you got the series, with the third game coming out, I think, on the Switch.
Nintendo's been doing a lot of that. The World Ends With You, the final remix on the Switch, and then Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Jem's excited for that one, aren't you?
Super duper excited.
Hey, what if it had romance options and dialogue choices? Would you give it a shot?
I don't know. Can I just play locally and not online with 12-year-old boys saying how they...
Moving on, we have Lego DC Supervillains coming out October 16.
That one looks fun.
It does look a lot of fun. The problem with a lot of the Lego games is you're playing as the good guys, you're playing through the story. The poor bad guys. They've been beaten and defeated and thwarted and just at every corner. They don't get any time in the sun. Well, now you get to play as them.
Kind of like in the Lego Batman movie, you see Joker just sad that he's not getting the attention that he wants from Batman. So I wonder if any of that will kind of carry through into this game.
And you know what? If people gave them more games, they wouldn't be so destructive. Maybe they just want their attention.
Hard to know, though. See, that's kind of like you bring in that logic and you look at kids that are misbehaving at school, right? And then they get rewarded for any time that they do anything slightly well-behaved. And then the kids that are consistently well-behaved look at that and think, well, why should I be well-behaved if the kids that are always misbehaving get rewards for only being good some of the time? Maybe I should just go and destroy things too, so that way I will get attention. And see, this is a vicious cycle that never ends and you need to start behaving.
Oh.
Sorry. Flashback of like primary school there. Anyway.
Primary school. Okay.
Well, I was well behaved in primary school.
Oh, as opposed to?
High school.
October 16, another one of those days that have a lot dropping on it. NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 For Honor gets its DLC Marching Fire. Heavy Fire, a different game, not Marching Fire, but Heavy Fire.
Red Shadow.
Red Shadow. That's a nice, warm, happy family game too, isn't it? Heavy Fire, Red Shadow. Valkyria Chronicles, coming to the Switch. And Warriors Orichi 4 launching as well. All this on October 16. It's like Christmas Day. We've also got The Hunter, Call of the Wild 2019. Everyone loves a good hunting game. But another big one, Starlink, Battle for Atlas. Star Fox is on the Switch version. A game that I thought, that looks like what No Man's Sky wanted to be, sort of.
Yeah.
But then I found out it has the horrible, horrible touch of having parts for your ship that you attach to your controller. And if you want to have big missiles, you have to buy big missiles in an actual store and attach it to your ship. And then if you want to have super boosters, you got to go buy the super boosters and equip it to your toy.
Sneaky.
I don't like that idea. The only one I did sort of like was Lego Dimensions.
That's just because you love Lego figurines.
No, however, unlike things like Disney Infinity where you buy the figure and you put it on the thing and then you can play in the game, the base for Lego Dimensions actually was like a controller. You'd move your character to certain parts to make them do special attacks or to avoid certain attacks or to solve puzzles.
True.
And so it was actually still interactive.
Yes.
So I like
And
that.
cute.
And cute. And it has Sonic the Hedgehog in it. I'm excited.
On October 18th, there is Moto Racer 4 and Siberia 3, both out on the Switch. October 19th, Dark Souls. There is remastered on the Switch. Dark Souls Trilogy is coming out. Soul Calibur 6 is going to be out on October 19th.
I didn't realise that was coming out so early.
I know. And World War 3 apparently on October 19th. Put that on your calendar.
Yes, make sure you haven't double booked yourself when World War 3 breaks out. Thankfully, it's only coming out on Steam Early Access.
Yes, so only those who have access to it will have access to World War 3.
And although the world will probably end, it may be buggy and incomplete, so you might actually come out unscathed.
And here's hoping the world has forgotten that Tasmania exists, so that way we can just flee there.
Oh,
Because
do we have to?
when people draw maps of Australia, they always forget Tasmania. They don't think it's part of our country. So.
The great tactical advantage we have that people forget there's an extra island off the bottom of Australia.
Yep, that's where we'll go hide. And one that you will love, I'm sure, Football Manager 2019 beta.
Well,
PC.
this is certainly not something that's up my alley. I don't even like football to begin with. So why
But
would
what
I want
football?
to manage it?
Is it football as in like
It's not AFL.
not Aussie rules, but like is it football as in football with soccer, or is it football as in like gridiron America?
No, it's the true football.
So soccer.
Yes.
For those of us who don't use the proper word for it. On October 23rd, Windjammers.
Windjammers.
There's Paw Patrol on a roll. Jakey would love that. Our little nephew Jakey loves Paw Patrol.
Oh, it could be his gateway to gaming.
Yeah. Hey, look, more Spider-Man going to be out on the 23rd. It's DLC.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
The Heist.
Ooh.
So that sounds interesting.
I think I know who that will involve.
I think we do too. Then there is Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, which kind of includes the card game for the combat, but still has story.
The card game?
Gwent,
Gwent?
which is also going to be out.
Is that like Squint? What did you say before?
Gwent. Oh, I said Skint.
Skint. Sorry.
Skint.
I thought they were connected.
No, they might rhyme, but that's about it. Gwent. So think of Gwen with a
No, I know.
T at the end. The Witcher card game. So that has been made into its own game because it was just so popular. Which is kind of cool that something like a mini game inside of a game becomes big enough that people want to pay for it all over again, essentially.
Well, when Final Fantasy VIII hit, that was my very first Final Fantasy. I played that multiple times, one of which to try and collect every card in the Triple Triad minigame, and I spent even more hours online on a Flash game playing Triple Triad in an illegal, unofficial Flash game with other people. So,
Didn't you also do that with Pizark from Star Wars?
yeah,
Pure Pizark.
I think I am addicted to card games inside of video games. I have an addiction.
Well, the first step is acknowledging it. Then we've got Spin Tires Mud Runner, American Wilds Edition.
That does. Thank you for transforming your voice for that.
That was a weak accent, but I'll. And then Just Dance 2019. I hope that the was it a panda, dancing panda from E3 is like a hidden character or something that you unlock in that game, so it'd be really funny.
Now, Just Dance from Ubisoft is out on everything you can imagine because it's not only coming out on the PC, the PS4, the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, the Switch, and the Wii U. Even the Wii, original Wii, is
well,
getting
people
a
still
version of
play
that.
that. We've got friends that still use theirs because they never upgraded to the Wii U, and I don't think they can afford necessarily to get the Switch.
But that's 2 generations back.
I know.
That's like people the equivalent of playing a PlayStation 2
Yeah.
instead of a PlayStation 4.
Like most people don't see the Wii U as a new generation though. They just see it as like a PlayStation Pro, you know?
Mm.
So it's kind of like a half a level up.
That
it's
was
like
their problem.
it's like an iPhone S. It's not a whole number, it's just got the S.
Throw some letters at it. Throw a U on it, it'll be fine.
Exactly. October 24th, Lethal League Blaze.
Lethal League Blaze.
That's the only one out on that day, as far as we are aware. October 25th, Flashback 25th anniversary. Well, they chose the right date because it's the 25th anniversary
I
on the
can't believe
25th.
games are getting re-releases at 25th anniversaries.
Does it make you feel old?
I am ancient. This is terrible.
At least you're not as old as Tetris.
It still doesn't make me feel better. If something has a 25th anniversary and I knew when it came out, ugh, I'm old.
Yes. Now, here's a biggie. October 26th, Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Where
A game I spent a lot of hours in the first one.
it is so realistic that the horses have testicles. And they shrink in the cold. I can't say that without laughing.
Good to see you've done your research on the important game physics.
No, they've been releasing. Rockstar's been releasing these like in-depth videos quite regularly in the lead up to the launch.
Like developer
Going
diaries.
in, yeah, exactly. And it's been really fascinating, like seeing them build it with like different textures, but also the story and explaining the world and the introducing you to some of the characters and stuff.
And that's all the internet is worried about.
The internet noticed that and it became a meme. So yeah, but I mean, I do tip my hat at them for attention to detail because I'm pretty sure that's the first game that has done that much.
Well, let's not get it. Let's not. I'm tongue-tied now.
You can't
Let
stop
us
thinking about
not
it.
forget the excitement that the gaming community had when Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain showed its first details of realistic horse poop.
Yes.
So, well, it must just be it. It's the next evolution of
Yeah.
gaming.
Well, Red Dead Redemption, the first one, was quite groundbreaking as far as riding horses. It was one of the most realistic simulations, showing muscle tone and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yep.
It re-established the bar and made everyone have to come up to their level because they just knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done it again.
So it's going to be very... Oh,
I'm so sorry.
surely that... She's dead. Surely that's one of those games that we have high expectations for and Rockstar always deliver. They have this magic touch when it comes to creating open world games with
they
good
do.
missions, good characters, good side missions, good activities, good locations, everything.
And it sounds like, with as far as the story goes, that you can choose, I think because you're playing as outlaws, you can choose to be like a really ruthless one, or you can actually try to be a good guy and you're kind of skirting the law, but you're not going out of your way to be a murderer. So like you can really choose how you handle situations, and you didn't really have that option. So I think more and more games with single player campaigns are starting to add choices, or at least the illusion, you know, into gameplay so let people feel like they're really personalizing their path, which I always love.
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side, and you could be featured in the next podcast.
Also launching on October 26th, which people will be paying zero attention to because Red Dead Redemption 2 has just come out. Nero, Nero, big acronym.
Brother Nero.
Brother Nero on the Switch has arrived. Castlevania Requiem, Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of the Blood.
Requiem's such a cool word.
It's a very cool word and a very cool series, Castlevania. The anime series My Hero Academia, big at the moment.
Huge.
The current, most popular anime. It gets its game launching October 26 as well, which is very bad for sales because, again, RDR2 is just going to say, hi, I'm here to steal your sales.
In Japan, I reckon it'll do all right.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. My Heroes One... It's a Japanese title. It makes little grammatical sense. My Hero One's Justice. My Hero One's Justice. My Hero One's Justice. Oh, that makes a bit more sense. Okay, I think I got it. My Hero One's Justice. Did I sound tough? Did it make sense?
Justice delicious.
What? My Hero's One's Justice Delicious. Perfect.
Oh, man. October 30th, Call of Cthulhu. Then we have Neon Town and Risk.
Everyone's favourite board game.
No.
I don't know, I've never played it.
No, it's not the only board game because then you've got Trivial Pursuit Live.
Ah, well, that's everyone's favourite board game, surely.
No, then you've got Hasbro's Game Night, which has multiple games for the Nintendo Switch.
Goodness me, all on the same day.
Yep, but I'm not done. Then there's the Mutant Football League Dynasty Edition.
Now, wait a second, is that American Mutant Football League or the...
The mutants have their own football. It's a hybrid of soccer and gridiron, where they have the soccer ball, but they wear the big helmets. And anyway,
Awesome.
Sports Party. It's a sports party.
No, don't start with that song. The dangers of babysitting, ladies and gentlemen. You will get children's songs stuck in your head.
Yes, forever. And Lego Harry Potter collection. I wonder if that's...
That's the whole 7 years.
Yeah, in one.
HD'd.
So they wouldn't have had to pay for split years like us because we're suckers.
Boo. Well, we did have the opportunity to play it 5 years ago. Just because we bought it and haven't played it yet. That's on us.
We played the first few years. We haven't gotten past year 3. Then there is Phantom Halls on October 31st for Halloween.
Perfect. Of course. One of my favourite things to talk about, scary games.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do a scary games episode on Halloween.
Halloween week. And a couple of games that are slated for October but not specifically got a date as yet. Warlocks 2, Godslayers, Do Not Feed the Monkeys. That
Understood.
Sounds awesome. Reigns Game of Thrones.
Is that allowed? Is it an actual Game of Thrones game, or is it they just stealing the title? No, I assume it's a Game of Thrones game.
It wouldn't be the first Game of Thrones game. There was a Telltale one.
It was.
I'm still sad about Telltale.
Poor Telltales.
Well, let's take a short break here and then we'll come back and look at the other games that are coming out in the fourth quarter of 2018.
And if you want to donate to Brendo's Gaming Fund, because there's about 12 games we've hit already in 1 month that I might want, details on the website, I suppose, maybe?
GamingLovers.com.
Give me your money.
Share the love. Follow us on Twitter at Brendo Jem. That's BRENDOJEM.
So, November. Usually when things hit full steam in the gaming world as far as their releases go, let's get right into it. November 2nd, Taiko no Tatsujin, Drum Session, and Drum and Fun both launch on the same day.
Do they come with drums?
No, but you may have played this before. It's a mini-game that has featured in Yakuza that I made you play. The drum mini-game.
Oh.
It's the actual console edition of the arcade edition of that game.
Yep.
You were doing that song.
Yep.
Yeah, good fun. Diablo 3 Eternal Collection comes out on the Switch November 2nd as well, as does Football Manager 2020.
The pleb edition.
The boring PC pleb edition.
Yep.
Ark Extinction is making its way to PC, PS4 and Xbox One November 6th, as well as Grip, all capitals. Make sure you say that name in all capitals.
So I want Grip!
Grip! Here's another family-based name of a game that you might want. Omen of Sorrow.
Come
Doesn't that sound pleasant?
Oh, come on. You can argue the ones that I was looking at sounded nice. That is clearly a scary game.
Okay.
Or at least
Carnival
a
games coming out on the Switch
Oh,
as
gee,
well.
that sounds like a horror game.
Well, I've seen some creepy carnivals in my time.
I suppose, true. With clowns. Brawlhalla is going to be out on the Xbox One and Switch on November 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Overkill's The Walking Dead.
Well, somebody has to pick up the reins after Telltale dropped them. No, it's a completely different game. I'm trying to make a joke.
Also on November 6th, there's Deracine.
PSVR title? No idea what it is.
No. There is World of Final Fantasy Maxima, which is getting ported. I believe that was a Vita game.
I played that and I loved it, but I have a great history with the Final Fantasy series. So I know a lot of the characters, I know a lot of the jokes. It's a game that doesn't take itself very seriously. And
very much fan service.
yeah, I enjoyed it because I'm a Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom.
Hold everything. This is the exact reason why we're reading every game in this list, because I didn't know this was being made. Now, you know, my favourite Master System game of all time was not a Sonic game, it was Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, which got a recent, beautiful new coat of 2D paint. Everything looked wonderful, excellent. This game is an indie developer making a game in that style, almost carbon copied, with the series creator on board to help out.
So it's like a spiritual sequel?
It's a spiritual sequel, and I'm excited because I didn't know it was coming out. And boy, I love me some Wonder Boy. It's Monster Boy, but it's basically Wonder Boy.
Another Steam Early Access game on November 7th is Hellsign. Then Valiant Hearts is making its debut on the Switch on November 8th, which is just a beautiful game and great for teaching history for those who don't know their World War One. Goes through a lot of the details while keeping you invested, some puzzle-based activity, a lot of kind of time-based movements as well. But
Believe it or not, we had a teenage friend who we were helping with their history homework, and I said, hey, I've got a game you should play. And they went, yay, no homework. And then they realised they were going to be learning about World War One.
Yep.
Did you know they used taxis to transport troops en masse to the battlefield?
There you go.
I hope the meter wasn't running.
But yeah, a beautiful game, one that is a little sad as well, obviously given the topic that it's dealing with, but we always recommend that one. And it's a good game to argue with people that are very anti-video games. We're like, well, there are these ones that are educational and entertaining, and so yeah. Tetris Effect on November 9th is going to be out, and that's going to be on VR. How does that work?
Well, imagine you're standing there and see blocks falling on you. It'd be pretty spooky. No, we don't want that.
Hitman 2 Gold and Collector's Edition.
Oh, not again. They get a few days early launch yet again.
Mm-hmm. And 11/11 Memories Retold November 9th.
If we move forward to November 13th, the full Hitman 2 coming out for the plebs again, like ourselves. The Falcon currently playing the first, it's hard to say first Hitman game because there's been a bunch of Hitman games, but the last Hitman game they just called Hitman, and now Hitman 2's coming out. There's already been a Hitman 2, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, which is one of the first games myself and Mr. Steve became friends about. So Hitman, near and dear to my heart, hopefully not with a bullet, but Hitman 2 is coming out, and I will probably get that and love it.
Mm-hmm. Spyro Reignited Trilogy is going to be out as well on the 13th.
Yes, riding on the back of the Crash Bandicoot Remastered Edition, where you get a whole new look for an old game, but keeping the same frames and levels and such. Very cool, yeah.
On November 14th, War. War never changes.
But it has.
Because,
it has changed.
Because now, if you don't play online, you are going to be wandering the wasteland with absolutely nobody else to talk to.
Fantastic.
No companions, no NPCs, it's just you.
Fallout 76.
Yes.
We will see how that reviews.
Yes.
One of those games. I said Red Dead Redemption 2. I have no doubt that is going to hit the 90s plus
easily
for its review score. Fallout 76
has the potential to either be amazing or awful. And I think that can really depend on whether you play with friends or not too.
Very tricky.
Yeah.
Very tricky.
And also with the option of people finding nukes that early, and just destroying each other's camps. I don't know if I'd want to play online because I'd be working on building this really amazing civilization and just have someone then come along and bomb it. No, thank you.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus comes out on November 15. I am Mechanicus, the magician. No.
Underworld Ascendant. There's also the Settlers History Collection. Gee, that sounds amazing. Sorry.
Not every game is going to appeal to you.
No, I know.
It doesn't mean it's not
there are some things I like
exciting.
that are history-based, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the title just doesn't make it sound very good.
Battlefield 5 Deluxe Edition, November 15th as well. A game that got bombarded with negative votes on YouTube for its trailer because there were more women in the war. It's trying to be historically accurate, but there's
But then they've added women.
women leading the charge. And it's a very tricky thing. I'm all
Yeah.
for gender equality and all that. That's fine. But
If you're doing something historically accurate, then you can't exactly go, unless it's, a completely different history, you're making up your own history, then it's science fiction.
yeah, that just seems like a situation you cannot stand a chance of keeping everyone happy with that.
It's like, Wonder Woman using World War One and warping history a little bit.
Deflecting bullets off her braces.
Yes.
Because that's the only area she gets shot at.
She uses her shield as well. But she's also technically not human, so I don't know if the bullets would really do all that much damage to her anyway.
I suppose that's a good point.
Then, one that I have been waiting for, Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. Woohoo!
You sound a lot more excited about that than the Settlers History Collection.
Well, maybe if the Settlers had Pokemon,
Now you're the one warping history.
that would make history awesome.
What are you excited about with Pokemon Let's Go?
I love that it's going back to the games that I grew up in with the Kanto region. I love that they've changed the art style and that they've removed some of the things that did irritate me. Like when I'd get into a Pokemon game, I'd kind of get tired of walking through long grass and constantly being bombarded when I really just want to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, So I like that they've revised that a little bit. So it does seem like a Pokemon light, so to speak, as in like a diet version. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. So I'm hoping that kind of rejuvenation into the series.
Civilization 6 also making its way to the Switch, a game series I never thought would see the light of day on consoles back in back when they were still early in its series. Wreckfest, November 20th. Battlefield 5, the pleb version. That's what they're officially going to be known as, the pleb version. For the common folk who
Those
can't
who are
afford
skint.
the elite deluxe editions of the Pantheus.
Yep.
Now, I don't like this trend. I've seen it 3 times on this list. And I know that WWE 2K19 is doing it as well. You pre-order, you get a deluxe edition, you get the game a few days early. I don't like that. I don't like that. Because that, especially in a multiplayer environment, people have more experience than you when you get there. They'll probably have better loot than you'll have when you get there. No, I don't like it. Anyway, I'm whinging. I don't play online anyway. I have nothing to stand on here. Warframe also coming out on the Switch November 20th. That's a game that's free to play, which has been on the PlayStation 4 basically since it launched. It's been out for a long time, jumping to the Switch, just like everything else on this list. Toki, November 22nd. I was going to say 22nd. That's my joke.
Yep. November 27th, Darksiders 3 comes out. Jumping forward again, November 29th, Asterix and Obelix, extra large too.
Did you ever read any of the Asterix comics back in the day?
Don't know if I read them. I am familiar. Like I can picture what they look like in my head.
I was more of a Garfield man myself.
I was very much a Calvin and Hobbes girl.
If you check my year 9 school library record, it'd be nothing but Garfield from the library.
Edge of Eternity also out on the 29th. On the 30th, Ride 3.
Ride 3. Followed by, well, not followed by, we don't have dates for these ones, but supposedly they're coming out in November as well. Fimble, And no, not thimble like you would wear on your finger.
When you're sewing.
Fimbul.
Yep.
Fimble. Moonlighter, Battletech Flashpoint Expansion, Iris.Fall. Yes, the dot is important. This War of Mine Complete Edition makes its way to the Switch in November as well. And guess what? More Spider-Man that you will not be playing unless they patch the game. The second DLC patch is scheduled to drop in November. It's called Turf Wars.
Yep. No surprise, November is stacked. Let's have a look at what is coming out right before Christmas. Dropping December 3rd, PlayStation Classic Console.
The best part about that is I'll be able to ask for that for Christmas and not feel bad about spending more than I would for a normal game, because that in Australia is going to be above the $100 mark.
Mm-hmm.
So, PlayStation Classic, we've talked about it briefly.
Yes.
It will have 20 games from the PS1 included on it.
Hopefully some good ones. They haven't really announced many that are actually going to be featured yet, so time will tell. Then we have Just Cause 4 on December 4th.
Another big gun coming out this year. Just Cause 3, very well received for its creativity. It basically is an action shooter game, but it gives you the tools to do whatever you want.
Yep.
Grappling hooks, explosives, jetpacks. Just attach whatever you want to whatever you want and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. To me, it's kind of in the same wheelhouse as Grand Theft Auto as far as playing in a sandbox and just having that freedom. And this time they've added a new storm element to the area that you're in. There are going to be earthquakes. There are going to be tornadoes that you have to contend with, all sorts of stuff.
Crazy. When you add physics engines and tornadoes, they can be nothing but good.
Or very, very bad.
Well, good for the enjoyment of the player, not for the virtual inhabitants of the world.
Also on December 4th, Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden.
Mm-hmm.
One I'm not entirely familiar with, but I am very excited for Persona Dancing Endless Night collection to be out.
Yes, Persona Endless Night, which is the combination pack, which has both Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. Games that might be targeted at very specific people, but thankfully for us, we fit right inside of that zone.
Oh, yes, we do.
We like rhythm games.
Mm-hmm.
We love Persona.
Oh, yeah.
And we like the characters from those series. And we like remixed music.
Yeah. So pretty much anything that Atlas comes up with, especially when it's linked with Persona, we're just like, yes, give me more. Shut up and take my money. So
certainly, unless you are a massive rhythm game fan, probably wouldn't recommend it for you unless you have played the Persona series.
Yes, and everything leading up to that, like all the side stuff as well, because there are things that they reference in these side games that are not just from like the main games, but from everything. Like they are very intricate. When they do fan service and they make meta jokes, they make meta jokes. So, I mean, it's really gratifying for fans that have been fans of everything and really devoured the whole series. But yeah, it can be a little bit alienating for those who aren't familiar with it. So we always encourage people to go and try out Persona and play it if they are a fan of RPGs in general, to try something maybe that's slightly out of their wheelhouse.
In particular, if you're an anime fan and you like that sort of, school children solving crimes. Yeah. Making it sound like Scooby-Doo.
It is. There's a mix of stuff. There's a lot of different elements to those games, but there's really good writing, a lot of character depth and character development from everybody, really good twists and things like that too. So we've always found those series to be really gratifying and fun to replay. So that's why we get excited even for the dancing games that are included in the series.
And if you do get the Persona Dancing Endless Night collection, which I don't pre-order often, let me make that very clear, may have secured this one already. It also includes Persona 4 Dancing All Night, previously only on the Vita, on the PlayStation 4, as a digital download extra.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
The only rhythm games that I've ever gotten a platinum on.
Nice work.
So I'm very, very excited for that. So looking forward to December 4th.
Also on December 4th, Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, and Gwent, the official Witcher card game, also get launched on consoles, PS4 and Xbox One. We mentioned them earlier. Obviously, that was for PC. And then we also have Arca's Path, which is obviously a VR title since it's coming off on the Vive, the Rift, and the PSVR.
Yep. And Override Mech City Brawl, the last one for December 4th on our list.
Well, we don't care about that. We just want Persona Dancing. What else we got?
On December 6th, The Last Remnant Remastered. And then Jagged Alliance Rage comes out.
On December 6th.
Yeah.
December 7th.
December 7th, oh my goodness.
What a double play we have coming up here.
Na 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 Katamari Damacy. I love that game so much. So
Again, an example of a series that, like I said, got more popular later on. We didn't even get the first game of the Katamari series in Australia.
No.
This will be our first taste.
Yes. So
Katamari
hopefully it won't be
Damacy
too buggy.
Reroll.
Looking forward to playing that and on the Switch. And then probably one of the most popular Nintendo series of all time, maybe right after Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers.
Ultimate.
Yes.
On the Switch.
And thankfully they have made like special edition controllers to come out with this game as well.
Which will probably sell out instantly, like the stupid GameCube adapter for the Wii U. That's the reason. That's the exact reason. Sorry, rant. It's the exact reason I did not enjoy the Wii U version of Smash Brothers as much as the others, because I could not secure one of those stupid adapters to play with my GameCube controllers for months after the game released here in Australia.
Did you look on eBay?
Didn't bother. I shouldn't have to.
There's probably someone who bought like 100 of them and then made like a huge profit by selling them online later.
Someone like myself whose attention in gaming is being pulled in 12 different directions at once at any given time.
Yeah.
If something is not immediately going to be able to play the best it can be played, I'm moving on. And so I loved Smash Brothers on the Nintendo 64. Me and my buddies getting together. There was 12 characters in that game. It seems like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Then Melee on the GameCube was my most played Smash Brothers. I still loved the physics in that one. I was kind of cheap. I would always spike the enemies down using Falco. He was the man. Brawl I enjoyed almost as much as Melee, but then the Wii U version I barely even played. I've never played as any of the DLC characters in that. Which is exactly why, with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Switch, everyone is here. So I'll finally be able to play as them. Like
Nice.
Cloud Strife. Why on earth did he get on the Smash Brothers bandwagon? It makes no sense.
You can play as Cloud or play as Isabelle from Animal Crossing. Seriously, Christmas is going to be awesome this year with all the family games that are out. There's going to be so many great local multiplayer games that we can pull out that it'd be easy for our family to just pick up and play with us. That's one of the things that we love to do after we've had our like turkey naps. After we're so full from all the eating, after we've had like that drowsiness hump go away, we always like to get together and play something. So for us, if we host Christmas at our place, it's usually video games.
We'll probably be playing Smash Brothers while the food's still cooking and everyone's still excited and full of energy for Christmas. And then after we have bloated ourselves with the food, we'll probably play something more chill like a Mario Party. Sound good?
Yeah, because Mario Party's super chill.
Well, everyone will be too fat and bloated to get out of their seats and attack each other for losing. I've thought this through. Earth Defense Force 5. That's actually quite hard to say. Force 5.
Say it 10 times fast.
Earth Defense Force 5. Earth Defense Force 5.
Couldn't even say it twice.
Don't know why my voice even went like that. That's very strange.
People's voice do go funny when they try to do things fast like
Defense
that.
Force 5. Defense Force 5. December 11th for that. And Insurgency Sandstorm, December 12th, launched on PC.
Now, we've got a few games that are coming out in December but haven't been given official dates as yet. We just know that they're supposed to be out around Christmas time. So there is Everspace Stellar Edition, which is out on the Switch. Destiny 2 Forsaken Black Armory DLC. More DLC for Spider-Man, the third.
Had one in October, one in November. Why not one in December?
Silver Linings. Shame it's not called Silver Bells. Silver Bells. Silver Bells.
Well, there's also a game called Silent Night due to be out in December. I'm guessing that will be December 21st because I don't want to have it too close to Christmas.
Oh, I love Silent Night. That's one of my favourite Christmas songs.
Now, the rest of our games we're going to rattle off here do not have set time frames even, so it could come out whenever we want.
Mm-hmm.
Is it our choice?
Not really.
Okay, sorry, not our choice.
I wish.
We got Rico, again, all capitals. Rico! I assume it's like the name. Coming out sometime this year. Return of the Obra Dinn.
Interesting.
Boy, we got some strange names. I regret saying these things off this list sometimes. Hell Warders. Beat Cop. What about Baba Is You? That's got to be Japanese as well, right?
Wasn't there an elephant named Baba?
There's all sorts of Babas. There's a witch called Baba Yaga. Baba Yama, something. Baba something.
Alibaba?
Don't think that was a witch. Redeemer Enhanced Edition. Guts. All capitals as well. Make sure you say Guts.
Mm-hmm.
Elder Scrolls Blades.
Isn't
which is
that-
the...
Is that another card game?
Nope, that's the first person simplified Elder Scrolls experience for your phones.
Oh,
iOS
right.
and Android. Remember the one they showed at E3?
Yeah. No, I do remember that now.
Looks very simple, probably just another randomly generated adventure that you go on, but it might be good to play while you're on the road.
Yeah.
Speaking of being on the road, be careful of dangerous driving, 'cause that's coming out, as well as Desert Child, and finally, The Shape-Shifting Detective. We have no idea when that's coming out.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have a challenge for you because we do have a bunch of other games that we know are slated to be released this year.
I was going to say, where is Team Sonic Racing?
Exactly. But we don't actually have a specific month or date or even like a vague idea of when they wanted to have it released. All they've said is 2018.
Okay.
So I am going to get you to try to get through this list quick, but without slurring over any names.
No editing either. I'm going to commit to this.
Okay.
And listen, if you are upset because your favourite game that you've been waiting for is in this last group, well, blame the developers for not giving us a proper date, because we could have given it better billing.
Are you ready?
Yes.
On your mark? Get set. Go.
Spelunky 2, Ape Out, Vane, Legion, Space Junkies, A Long Way Down, Outer Wilds, Eternity, The Last Unicorn, Black Future 88, Maneater, Lucius 3, A Fisherman's Tale, Under a Porcelain Sun, 482, Shibuya Scramble. I want to play that. Jupiter and Mars, The Endless Mission, Conqueror's Blade, Infected Shelter, Truck Driver, Black Desert Online, Children of Mortar, Medieval is getting a remaster. Fantastic. Team Sonic Racing. Yay. God's Trigger. Concrete Genie. Don't drop it. Dead Stick. Origami. Not Origami. Aragami. Shadow Edition. The Elder Scrolls Legends. Hyper Brawl Tournament. Dreams. Gear Club Unlimited. What the golf?
I remember seeing the trailer for that. That looked really funny.
It did look very funny.
Okay, sorry.
Sega Mega Drive Classics on the Switch. Conqueror's Blade. Fringe Wars. Vigor. Session. What sort of a game is called Session? My goodness. Unruly Heroes. Semblance. Gris. All capitals. Streets of Rogue from? Okay, I don't know if that's just a mistake in the list or if that's what the game's actually called. Streets of Rogue from. Pixel Noir. Sinner. Sacrifice for Redemption. Interesting. Ashen. Fantasy Strike. GTFO. Don't yell that too loud. Breach. Toe Jam and Earl. They're back in the groove. That's a Sega Mega Drive series. My goodness me.
Yeah, running out of time.
Disco Elysium, Steel Rats, Battlefield Gothic Armada 2, Away, Journey to the Unexpected. It sounds nice. It's probably a horror game. Star Child, Project Rap Rabbit, Blood and Truth, Yakuza Kiwami on PC, The Stillness of the Wind, Towers 57, Mugsters, Artifact, Dark Devotion, The Church in the Darkness, The Hong Kong Massacre. Sounds lovely. Left Alive, Egress, Super Meat Boy Forever, Pikunuku, Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, Everybody, Racing Apex, Gearbox's Project 1v1, No Heroes Allowed on the PSVR, Hollow Point, Hunt Showdown, The Quiet Man, Riverbond, Metroid Prime 4. I don't know if that's going to make it this year, sorry. Blazing Chrome, Patapon 2 Remastered, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Death Stranding, good luck. Due Process, Scarf, Grim Fandango Remastered, Broken Age on the Switch, Ghost Giant, Routine, Storm Boy, The Game, Hypersports R, Tales of the Neon Sun. C. Neon... I didn't muck up any so far. I'm nervous. Tales of the Neon Sea. Sea of Solitude. 2 different seas. Below. Command & Conquer Rivals. Lost Soul Aside. Witchfire. Gears Tactics. Katana Zero. Steel Division 2. Neopolis. And Warhammer Vermintide 2 on the PS4.
Okay, breathe.
How did I do?
Not too bad. So there are a lot of games that are slated for this year, but I think are actually going to be pushed back if they haven't already for next year. But a lot of gaming to look forward to.
Yippee!
Yay! Which is always good news for those of us that are gaming lovers.
Gaming goals. What are you planning? What are you playing? What are you doing?
Persona. I'm tempted to do another replay of Detroit.
Do you reckon you can squeeze it in?
I don't know. That depends on whether Spider-Man gets a patch that I may or may not be waiting on to continue my story.
I don't know if you'd be able to even beat Spider-Man before we left on our holiday.
Well, that depends on how much free time I would have.
We better choose something that you can play or you're happy to leave abandoned because our gaming goals will be suspended for a few weeks later.
I'm mostly
this
through
month.
Persona 5, so I think if I just focus on that as my primary game, then I should be all good. And I can take Persona Q with me, so that's something I can continue as a goal while we travel through Japan.
Fantastic.
Yes, with my cute little Pokeball edition of the 2DS.
Wonderful. Well, speaking of Detroit, I am going to try to communicate with my audience members and be continuing my journey through the stress and sweatiness that is Detroit Become Human.
Yes.
Spider-Man, I might try and finish that platinum. I might just give up because I don't like the grind these days. I'm old. I don't have the stamina for the trophy grinding that I used to do. It's terrible. And I honestly don't know what I'm playing in between. We are approaching the spooky season, which is when I usually like to play the occasional spooky game. But we're going to be away for the spooky season.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're in Australia. We don't do Halloween anyway.
We really don't.
It's more just a thematic
Most people
reason.
who try to do trick-or-treating in Australia get chased off.
Very disappointed, or they get the hose turned onto them.
Hit the sprinklers on. Get off my lawn, you stupid kids.
So I might leave it up in the air, but I will be trying to play something that's probably no longer than a 12-hour game. So maybe I'll check my backlog or see what I have. Boy,
Sounds
I'm
good.
informative. I do want to get through this
vague
backlog
promises.
too. I really
I'll
wanted
get
to
around to
clear this
gaming.
backlog because look at these games coming out. What has caught your attention? What is coming out this year that you are going to definitely get?
Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I feel like I need to
thought you were
clarify
going to say
that.
Mario. I'm thinking
We've already got
that's-
that. Obviously, there's quite a few Nintendo games that are on my hit list, from Mario Party to Smash Brothers to the Pokemon Let's Go. We've already pre-ordered the Persona dancing games, so at least all we have to do is pick them up. Yeah, those off the top of my head are the ones that I'm most looking forward to. I know Red Dead Redemption 2 is high on your list.
Boy, I hope it's just like a 6-hour single-player, just start-to-finich story and then you're done. No, it's an open-world game. Oh my goodness, I don't have time for these games.
But honestly, I think you'll enjoy sinking into a big game when we get back from our trip, because we're not going to be able to have much time to really play anything big like that. Anything that we do play while we're overseas, we tend to stick to small games that we can play in short bursts, because trying to play an RPG when you're traveling, when you're tired or a little jet lagged or you're exhausted from a day out of sightseeing and, let's face it, with me, shopping, then you don't really have much energy to devote in paying attention to a video game.
Oh, I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
So you want something that's fun, but that's not going to drain you as well. So we're going to have something that we have waiting for us when we get back. For me, that might be Odyssey, because I don't know if I'll be able to finish that before we leave.
You will try.
I would try. Hey, you did that with Horizon Zero Dawn last year.
Very true.
So it's not completely undoable, but given the fact that I have a lot of work on my plate at the moment, it might be a little bit too much of a cutting it close. So I might save that for when we get back from Japan. It's going to be killing me to know that I have it there waiting for me, but something to look forward to when we're back and sad that we're home.
Wonderful. I'm going to go play some games because I just realised I have very limited time to do so.
Sounds good. Me too.
Well, until next time, we've been the Gaming
I'm racing
Lovers.
to the PlayStation. Bye.
My goodness me.
Bye now.
That's not fair. I guess I'm playing the Switch.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.